afternoon, hello, and welcome to the Omni Coalition News Show, aka TOCNS. This show is an amalgam of strange, weird, bizarre, off-the-wall, and otherwise things you don't normally see anymore from most news sources these days. During a time of political overabundance and divisiveness, we present you with more unifying topics to discuss for the most part. For links to those articles and music done by Carrera and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am Aoxander, and today is Moon's Day, also known as Monday, December 19th, 2022. 6 days, guys. 6 days till Christmas. Anyway, let's get on into the news, shall we? Starting us off in Rebel News, Twitter files. FBI paid Twitter millions and influenced executives to censor the Hunter Biden laptop story. Nothing surprising, nothing shocking. But now we're finally getting actual confirmation from official sources. It says here, documents revealed as part of the 7th installment of the Twitter Files expose have shed light on the FBI's efforts to pressure Twitter to grant agents access to user data in the lead up to the 2020 presidential election. The latest drop of the Twitter Files on Monday revealed that former Twitter Trust and Safety head Yoel Roth resisted the Bureau's efforts to coerce the platform into providing data outside of the normal search warrant process. Roth was directly involved in the old regime's censorship on Twitter, including the suppression of the New York Post explosive report on Hunter Biden's laptop. An analysis of internal documents conducted by journalist Michael Schellenberger revealed that in December of 2019, a supervisory agent of the FBI's National Cybersecurity Wing, working out of the Bureau's San Francisco field office, asked Roth if the company would revise its terms to to revise its terms of service to permit a vendor contracted with the Bureau to access the Twitter data feed. For further reading on this article, please refer to the underbar of the description below. It says, I'm going to read this last article, this next paragraph here. It says, Schellenberger's findings indicate that the FBI have been in contact with Twitter executives for months prior to the release of the New York Post article and had shed documents of the company's head of state security or head of site integrity just hours before the story was published. Yeah, not surprising, as I said, in the least at all. We already knew all this stuff. So, anyway, I'm going to move on up here. More from Rebel News. Health Canada staffer dies suddenly. Not shocking, again. It says here, Adam Exton was a Liberal staffer working as the Director of Parliamentary Affairs at Health Canada at the time of his tragic passing. The obituary for Exton details that he was 35 at the time of his death. Exton, as part of the leadership team that led Canada's COVID-19 response, was instrumental in instituting vaccine passports of a federal level. However, Exton may have been struggling with his own health. The obituary further reads that, quote, in memory of Adam, donations can be made to the CMHA, an organization that was very important to him, end quote. CMHA is the Canadian Mental Health Association. It is a nationwide organization that promotes mental health and supports people recovering from mental illness. Yeah, sure, while they're more advising people for medically assisted suicide because it's cheaper to just kill people off rather than actually, help them live. Go Canada. All I can say is, I'm not sad he's gone. I'm not, nobody deserves to die, but, this person, he sent a lot of people to their death. So, what goes around comes around. Anyway, I'm going to go on more from Rebel News. Viewers react. General Motors invites, then prevents Rebel News from covering Trudeau events. How can you, reverse yourself like that? That's obviously not going to work out well in your behalf. It says here, on Friday's episode of Rebel Roundup, David Menzies read your reactions to General Motors inviting, then preventing Rebel News from covering their event with Prime Minister Trudeau at their Ingersoll, Ontario facility. It says here, one viewer called Roger Moses chimed in writing, quotes, I'm getting really sick and tired of people claiming Rebel News is not media or journalists and keeping their employees out of the loop. They give much better accounts of current events than CBC, Global, CTV, etc. End quotes. Another viewer shared their thoughts, writing, quote, "Thanks, David. Great report. As a diehard Chevy/GM supporter, I will never buy again from this woke company. Too bad. GM was a great company years ago. RIP GM. Well, they never were a good company. They've been government motors for a long time, and they actually, I think it was them who bought out Aptera, or somebody did, because Aptera, that came out in the early 2000s. It gets 300 some odd miles to the gallon equivalent, so it has a 1,000 some odd or several thousand miles to the charge, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but compare that to the Teslas and all the innovative stuff that we have today. No, they're holding technology way back. There's so much more that can be done that's already out there. Let's not forget the hydro powered automobile, powered off of water. I know GM bought that out, and kept that technology suppressed. So, but yeah, how can you invite people to come over and then say, oh, never mind? You can't uninvite people. That's really childish. Anyway, moving on up to more from Rebel News. British luxury hotels used to house illegal boat immigrants. Once again, not a surprise here. The news of illegal economic migrants being housed in luxury hotels at taxpayer expense has caused outrage among the British people. The UK government has been accused of wasting taxpayers' money on housing migrants in hotels, while many British citizens are struggling to make ends meet. Yeah, as it's going out, out here in California, illegals have more rights than I do. Literally, they really do. It continues on here. According to Home Office statistics, 419 different hotels are being used to accommodate asylum seekers, the vast majority of whom are economic migrants, at a cost of £7 million per day, Summit News reported. What? Okay, so I guess the whole shebang costs that much. But this is disgusting. Utilizing taxpayer money to house illegals. It continues on here. The scandal has been further compounded by reports that some of the hotels are located in prime tourist areas. This has caused disruption to those who had booked the hotels months in advance, with many having their wedding plans ruined after receiving phone calls from the hotel to immediately cancel their bookings. Nigel Farage, former leader of the Brexit Party, has responded to the news of illegal migrants being housed in hotels across the UK. He remarked, quote, "It is out of control. There are very, very few towns now unaffected by this," end quote. Yeah, so not only is it costing taxpayer monies, it's ruining very important portions of people's lives. Their weddings, their vacations, other trips. This is absolutely abysmal, and whoever is in charge of this, feed them to the wolves. So, anyway, let's move on up here. More from Rebel News. Union calls to randomly test kids and teachers for COVID, labeled nuts. Yeah, I 100% agree on that. This is what is a random drug test or something? Seriously. A call for school students to be randomly tested for COVID-19 has been described as nuts. I agree. The recommendation was made by the Australian Education Union to a parliamentary inquiry into long COVID. A, quote, regular asymmetric testing program, end quote, for staff and students should be mandated in all public schools, the union said. No. It is also recommended that, quote, mandated isolation from the school or other education settings is reintroduced for students or school staff who are infected with COVID, end quote. And that appears to be it, without the all these other quotes and whatnot. So that is absolutely outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. This, it's gone too far. Enough with this COVID stuff. Media, are you listening to me? Rupert Murdoch, all freaking whoever's in charge of CNN, all you people, are you listening to me? Stop it. Okay, we're done. Enough with this COVID crap. Anyway, let's move on up here. More from Rebel News. Trans predator sent to jail after police sting exposed shocking depravity. Not shocking at all. So, a Sydney transgender woman has been sentenced to 5.5 years in jail for trying to have sex with a woman and her child while on bail for sending sexually explicit text messages to a 14-year-old. Wow. Except that none of the alleged victims are actually existed. Tan Miller, at the age of 49, was actually speaking to Child Exploitation Unit detectives on each occasion. The Downing Center District Court was told last week that Miller had prepositioned to have sex with a police officer posing as a 39-year-old mother in an online chat room. What the hell is wrong with people? Like as I keep saying, all these little segregated groups, like from BLM to feminists to Antifa to the Alphabet Mafia, to the homosexuals to the pansexuals to the transgenders, like all these people, it almost seems like they're allowing one bad apple to spoil the whole bunch, because I'm not seeing any activity from anybody to push back against people who are supposed to be representing you. So, and stories like this are just coming out day after day after day after day. So I don't know what to think. Anyway, let's move on up. More from Rebel News. Antifa-like mob protests Christian freedom event in Vancouver. Not surprising again. So, the Vancouver stop of the popular Let Freedom Reign tour was caught off guard last week by a mob of approximately 20 Antifa-type protesters who opposed the event. So you mean Antifa? Antifa-type, mostly peaceful? Really? You're going to try to utilize, this stupid, euphemistic language? No, it's Antifa. The Christian-led event put on by Laura Lynn Ministries attracted close to 600 attendees who squeezed through a mob in black at the center's entrance in order to hear a message of hope, truth, and courage from speakers Pastor Arthur Pawlowski, Minister Laura Lynn, Tyler Thompson, and Dr. William Mackes. It continues on. Quote, "We are here to condemn the presence of alt-right speakers and organizers of tonight's Let Freedom Reign event at the Croatian Cultural Center," end quote, read a piece of paper one protester flashed in my face as I questioned their members whether they had hate for Christians and had just been paid to be here. There's obviously a lot more to the article here, so please go to the underbar of the description below, go to this link here, give them the foot traffic. They put in the work and effort, to make this article. I'm just reading it for you to get you to spread awareness, really. So, but this is not surprising in the least. The same page condemned Justin Gordon as a speaker of the event, allegedly because he shares, quote, anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and ultra-nationalist beliefs, end quote. Buzzword, 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 buzzword. Yet there was no such speaker named Justin Gordon at the event, nor at any of the tour's prior events in cities across Canada. So not only are they utilizing buzzwords to have an excuse to crash this party, but he's not even there. So, yeah, clearly they have no idea what the hell they're doing. Anyway, let's move on up here from Oddity Central. We have the HuggyBot 3.0. Robot uses science to deliver the perfect hug until it squeezes your head in like a grape. HuggyBot 3.0 is the third iteration of a robot designed by a team at the Max Planck Institute for Intelligent Systems to deliver the perfect hug. Hugging probably isn't the first thing that comes to mind when thinking about things that robots could help humankind with, but a team of scientists at the Max Planck Institute for Intelligent Systems disagrees. Alexis E. Block and her colleagues have been involved in the HuggyBot project for years, trying to create a robot that can deliver human-like hugs and replace actual people in various scenarios, like providing comfort to the lonely or replacing somebody who just can't deliver a hug in person for some reason. Their third iteration, the HuggyBot 3.0, is apparently quite the hugger. Aww, this is adorable. The creators of HuggyBot 3.0 have claimed that this is the, quote, first fully autonomous human-sized hugging robot that recognizes and responds to a user's intra-hug gestures, end quote. It features a custom sensing system called Huggy Chest, which incorporates two inflated chambers of polyvinyl chloride to imitate a soft chest, but there's a lot more than a soft chest to the HuggyBot 3.0. Okay, good. The advanced robot delivers hugs using a pair of Canova Jaco arms mounted to a custom metal frame that were selected for being anthropomorphic, quiet, and safe. As a hug takes place, a barometric pressure sensor and microphone inside the artificial chest detect human touch and begin transmitting data via an Arduino Mega microcontroller board to a robot operating system ROS based computer located in the Huggybots 3.0 3D printed head. Alright, that's cool. I gotta check this out here. Like, man, a robot that hugs. Huh. Let's see here. Can I... There we go. Okay. Gonna move on up here. More from Oddity Central. This is interesting. Controversial artist uses his own blood as paint. Can anybody said, you know, what's the word? Contamination? Bloodborne pathogens? Hello? It says here, Elito Amang Printer Circa is a Filipino artist who rose to fame for using his own blood to create a canvas painting or canvas paintings that have attracted both praise and criticism over the years. Born in a poor family that couldn't afford to buy improper art supplies, Eleto Circa experimented with a variety of unusual mediums as a child, including plums and tomatoes. But it was when he accidentally scraped his hand that he discovered the art medium that would mark his artistic career: his own blood. He quickly realized that the blood not only made his paintings more durable, as it was harder to erase from the canvas, but it also made his artworks in his own way that he had never imagined before. Quote, my artwork is very important to me because they come from me. It is from my own blood. My DNA is part of it, Circa recently told Reuters. My philosophy is that life is circular and everything is a cycle, so my blood is a tool that serves as a reminder of where I come from, end quote. But, as I said, bloodborne pathogens, diseases, you know, like, just because something is dead doesn't mean it can't be revived, you know? Like, there can be, you know, like, syphilis or something, you know, in his blood, and if you touch the painting, guess what? Now you have it. So, he should probably really get tested before he sells his paintings or anything like that, to avoid lawsuits and whatnot. Anyway, and I just do not believe this. This has got to be some kind of lie. Born from Oddity Central, people can't believe this mature-looking football player is only 12 years old. There is no way that is 12 years old. The internet is struggling to come to terms with the fact that Jeremiah Johnson, a running back from Fort Worth, Texas, is only 12 years old despite his mature appearance. Jeremiah Johnson started making news headlines around the country last week after photos of him holding the trophy of 12U Division I Most Valuable Player went viral on social media. Johnson's team, the Dallas Dragons Elite Academy, DEA, oh, that's not good, had just won the 2022 Youth National Championships in Miami, and he was crowned the MVP. But while his photos got thousands of likes and congratulatory comments, what most people seemed to be focused on was Jeremiah's age. They just couldn't believe that he was only 12 years old, and to be fair, the boy did look incredibly mature for his age. But as I said, this has got to be a lie. There's so, you know, this is a plot straight out of so many cartoon shows. You know, oh hey, let's portray ourselves as like, you know, like those police, you know, movies and stuff, like where they go in undercover portraying themselves as students and everything. This guy is not 12. That guy is absolutely not 12 years old. I'm going to call it now. You know, a month from now, something's going to happen, and they're going to be, oh yeah, he's not 12 years old. He was an undercover cop or something. He is not 12 years old. There's no way in hell. Like, something's going on. There's some kind of sting operation happening. Anyway, we're going to continue on from the Mirror. Woman terrified after receiving up to 30 unwanted takeaways every night for years. So this is concerning. What does this mean? A woman has been left terrified to be in her own home after receiving up to 30 unwanted takeaways every night for the past 2 years. Diane Maines, at the age of 58, has been left unable to sleep and said her mental health has deteriorated during the ordeal. She has tried everything to get to the bottom of the unnerving mystery. She is so fed up with being bombarded by unwanted food that she now barricades her front door with wheelie bins to try and deter the delivery drivers. The suspected stalking campaign began at the beginning of the first COVID lockdown in April of 2020, and since then food deliveries from multiple restaurants have been arriving at different times throughout the evening. At first, Diane started receiving knocks on her door for 4 takeaway drivers, with 4 or 6 orders coming each night for several nights, but the problem got worse, and she began receiving 20 or 30 separate orders. The takeaways ordered through Just Eat are all cash on delivery and all with different names, accounts, and phone numbers attributed to the orders. Wow, so somebody's really like going out of their way to create fraudulent deliveries to screw with this person. That is really, really sad. Continues on here. Now, 2 years later, the issue is continuing, with Diane, who lives on her own, still receiving orders at her door as recently as Friday, December 9th. The customer service agent is no further forward to finding out why this is happening, and said that the ordeal has left her struggling to sleep and extremely anxious. So yeah, please, for further reading, continue on to the underbar of the description for links to this story and every other story that we have and will cover in this show. That's actually terrifying. Move, move, and if it continues, then it has to be either somebody you know or somebody who really hates you. Think about, anybody who would do this. This is ridiculous. There has to be a way to find who this is. Phone tracking or something. It's 2022. There's always a way to find somebody. I'm not even a hacker, but I can figure out some way to do it. So, anyway, let's move on up. More from the Mirror. Bar owner bans Coca-Cola from his pub as the area is only for serious drinkers. Yes. Take that, Coca-Cola. Up your tailpipe. An infamous bar owner in Belfast has broken the mold after refusing to serve a prospective customer a glass of Coca-Cola, stating that his bar is for serious drinkers only. Biddle's Bar in Belfast City Centre is well known for the quality of its Guinness. A wary traveller popped in to get out of the cold for a quick Coca-Cola, or so he thought. Bar owner John Biddles said the small watering hole doesn't have room to cater for people not drinking booze, the Daily Star reports. Speaking to Sunday World on Saturday, December 17th, he said, quote, "This guy came in and ordered a Coke. Well, a glass of Coke doesn't really work for me," end quote. So yeah, no, if you go to a bar, get an alcoholic beverage. Don't go to a bar and get milk or, a soda, or water. The bars exist for a reason. If you want just a normal beverage, either stay at home or go to a Denny's or something, But yeah, seriously. And, for other reasons, kudos to this guy for, not having, straight up just Coca-Cola. Because, after what they did and everything. So, Coca-Cola should really, get banned entirely. So, anyway, let's move on up from UPI, otherwise known as OOPI. A trailer hauling 6,000 pounds of onions caught fire on Florida highway. Mason, no! Mason, why? Firefighters responded to a Florida highway where a blown-out tire caused a trailer loaded with thousands of pounds of onions to catch fire. Ocala Fire Rescue said in a Facebook post that multiple crews responded to a report of a freight vehicle fire on Interstate 75 just south of exit 354. The crews arrived to find an open trailer being hauled by a pickup truck was fully engulfed in flames. The driver who had exited the vehicle told firefighters the blaze was sparked when one of the truck's tires blew out. The trailer had been carrying 6 cargo bins loaded with a total of about 6,000 pounds of onions. The flames were extinguished about 3 minutes after firefighters arrived on scene. No one was injured in the incident, the department said, except for all of those onions. And, yeah, that's a tragedy. 6,000 pounds of onions gone. Well, maybe they could salvage some. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, no, they're just washing the onions now. It looks like. Anyway, let's move on up here. More from UPI. Alberta couple's home filled with 133 decorated Christmas trees. That's a lot. An Alberta couple filled their home with 133 decorated Christmas trees to raise money for a local animal shelter. Tom Kiraluk and Vince Jackman said they first filled their Red Deer home with Christmas trees and opened the doors to the public about 15 years ago when they had 15 decorated trees in their home. The couple said the number of trees has increased every year to a total of 133 trees this year. The pair said that the tours they give of their tree-filled home raise money for the Central Alberta Humane Society. For further reading on this article, please, refer to the underbar, yada, yada, yada. That's a lot of trees. And I was watching a video not too long ago. It's like, we have a Christmas tree here. We have a Christmas tree here. We risk our lives to put a Christmas tree up there. We have a Christmas tree over there. And then we're talking about putting a Christmas tree there. It's like, that's what, 5, 6 Christmas trees? This is 133? Like, I gotta see. Let's see here. Is this gonna even play for me? 3 years ago.
My name is Tom.
Oh.
I'm Vic.
Oh, wait, was that upside down? Yes, it was. Huh. Wow, okay, and so they have big trees, little trees, a wizard tree. Wow.
Las Vegas Christmas tree. It's made from...
Wow, that's an astounding amount of Christmas trees. Anyway, let's move on up here. More from UBI. Michigan woman's 20-year-old chicken might be the world's oldest. Yeah, it might be. A Michigan woman is seeking Guinness World Records recognition for her pet chicken, Peanut, who is believed to be the oldest in the world at the age of 20. Marcy Parker Darwin of Waterloo said a friend urged her to apply online to have Peanut recognized as the world's oldest living chicken, and she received a response about 2 weeks later with instructions on how to gather evidence, including photos, videos, witness statements, and media coverage. Quote, I'm hoping they'll give credence to my witnesses like my niece in her 30s who loved Peanut as a teen, and a friend who moved to California 18 years ago and had loved Peanut and was astonished when he moved back to see her again, among others, end quote, Darwin told the Sun-Times News. Darwin said she started rescuing chickens in the 1990s and early 2000s. A Nankin hen laid a clutch of eggs in her coop after a love affair with a Millie Fleur's rooster. Darwin said one of the eggs failed to hatch and she was preparing to throw it away into a pond for the fish and turtles when she heard a faint chirp. Quote, I ended up peeling it out of the egg. As the chirping grew fainter, I feared the chick would not survive. A pitifully wet, wadded up mess sat in my hand. I wrapped it in a towel and carried it close to my heart as I set up a cage and mounted a heat lamp with one hand, end quote, she said. The chick, Peanut, was rejected by her mother and had imprinted on Darwin. Alright, well, cool. So... But that's sad. It was rejected by the mother. So, but hey, big things come in small packages. The runt of the litter turns out to be become the world's oldest chicken in, the history of records as far as humanity is concerned. Hey, that's a pretty good, roll right there. Anyway, more from UPI in a page right out of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. A squirrel hides out in North Carolina family's Christmas tree. A North Carolina family shared video from the unusual festive scene that unfolded when a squirrel that entered their home tried to hide out in the Christmas tree. Okay, so it got in their home. It didn't come in through the tree. Taylor Stating, who posted videos of the wildlife encounter to Facebook, said the squirrel apparently entered the family's Waxhaw home through a loose roof shingle, climbed through a sink pipe and opening, and emerged in an upstairs bathroom. Stating that the family dog Dixie then chased a squirrel through the house until it managed to hide out in the Christmas tree. Stating's video shows that her attempting to get the squirrel out of a nearby window, while advice and commentary is offered by her kids, Colton at 11, Savannah 8, and Caroline 8 as well. So let's take a look at this.
Well, before we go, we do...
There we go. Yeah, it was hiding in the tree. That's a really nice tree, by the way.
There you see that squirrel.
All right.
Taylor Standing.
I want to go back. I want to see that tree. That's a good looking tree. Go away. That is a really good looking tree. Good job. That's a kind of thin, but good job. So, yeah. Anyway, that shall conclude the show. Once again, you can check the underbar in the description for any links you may be interested in, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. For your dose of different, odd, and otherwise unknown news, we stream Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific Time, which is, and I'm not going to screw this up, 11, I was going to intentionally try to screw it up. No, 3 p.m. Mountain Time, 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific, and, well, I did screw it up, 5 p.m. Eastern, wow. No matter what, I'm going to screw something up. And then also 11 p.m. at night in Germany. Anyway, for all of you and all of us, I am A.O. Xander, and you are you. And until you catch us tomorrow, or if you're interested in history, we have a history show every morning at 10 in the morning Pacific Time. Anyway, until then, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!